I never wanted to go to that gala. It wasn't just that it was hosted by the Bennecks, our family's political nemeses. It was that my father insisted I attend, with a smile so tight it looked like it hurt, the kind of smile he used when reporters asked about scandals. "You represent the Dorseys now," he told me, handing me a deep red velvet dress. "Walk in like you own the place." I did the opposite. I walked in like I wanted to disappear. Everyone was dressed like wealth was their blood type. Crystal chandeliers, champagne towers, live violins, fake laughs everywhere. I made a beeline to the farthest corner, grabbing a flute of something I didn't want, praying for the night to end. Then I saw him. Tall, not movie star handsome, but something sharper, like someone who thought faster than you, saw deeper than you wanted him to. Dark curls just messy enough to look accidental. Eyes the color of storm clouds over water. He wasn't talking to anyone, just watching the room like it annoyed him. And then he looked at me. I held his stare for a second longer than polite. I looked away first, annoyed with myself and him. But when I glanced back, he was already walking toward me. "You look as miserable as I feel," he said, voice low, smooth. "Mutual suffering. Cheers." I blinked. "Not your best pickup line." "It's not a pickup line. You just looked like the only person here who'd rather be dead than socializing." "Charming?" He smiled, and for some stupid reason it worked on me. "Cassian," he said, holding out his hand. "Harper?" I didn't shake it. His eyes glinted like he was holding in laughter. "No last name?" "Depends. Are you one of those guys who Googles women after 2 minutes?" He didn't answer, just took a sip of his drink and said, "Let me guess, you're from a family that hates mine." My pulse jumped. He knew. I turned slightly away. "Maybe I just hate you personally." "Fair enough. But just so you know, I was dragged here too. I'd rather be hiking in Idaho, alone, with bears." "Why Idaho?" "No one interesting lives there," he said, "which makes it perfect." I laughed despite myself, and I hated that. He grinned wider, like he'd cracked some hidden level in me. "So," he leaned closer, "what brings a Dorsey to a Bennick event?" There it was. He didn't just know. He wanted me to know that he knew. I stiffened. My father's idea of peacekeeping, symbolism over sincerity. Cassian's gaze softened. "Sounds about right. Mine calls it optics." I finished my champagne in one gulp. "I should go." "You should stay," he said, not in a pushy way, more like a dare. "You're the first real thing in this glass room of plastic people." "And you're the enemy," I said, more to myself, "if you say so." He walked away first. I should have felt relief. I should have left too. But I didn't. Instead, I found myself drifting through the crowd, catching glimpses of him, talking to some older man in a tux, dodging a woman with too much perfume. Our eyes kept locking across rooms, not flirting, something else. Curiosity laced with heat. When the waltz started, I stood by the balcony, watching everyone spin like programmed dolls. My phone buzzed, unknown number. "Want to break one rule? Meet me in the garden." I hesitated. I shouldn't. My family would. But I was already walking. The garden was dimly lit, the music muffled by glass. I found him leaning against the fountain, tie loose, hands in his pockets like he belonged in another decade. "Took you long enough?" he said. "I'm not sure why I came." He looked at me for a long time, then said, "Me neither." Neither of us moved. The air felt thick with things unspoken. Then, like gravity shifted, we stepped closer at the same time. He didn't touch me, didn't try to. "I used to think, your family was made of stone," he murmured. "Cold, ruthless. And I thought yours were criminals in suits. Maybe both are true. Maybe neither are. I don't know who leaned in first. The kiss was soft, careful, like a secret we both wanted to protect. When it ended, I looked up at him and whispered, "This can't happen again." He nodded, then said, "It will." I told myself it was a one-time thing. Just one kiss. Just one night. But I lied. It started with late-night texts, anonymous numbers, burner apps, then coffee shops 2 towns over, used bookstores where no one knew our last names, places where Harper and Cassian could be just people, not Dorsey and Bennick. He made me laugh without trying. He listened like my words were rare. One night, I told him about my mother, how she left when I was 10, said the Dorsey name would swallow her whole. He didn't look away. He just said, "I get it. My mom was the same, except she stayed and drank herself to silence." We were 2 people raised in barbed wire, trying to find softness. But the world was not soft. Mara noticed first. She's my best friend, has been since the 3rd grade, and she's too smart for her own good. We were studying for our comparative politics. Final when she said, "You've been glowing and disappearing. That only happens when someone's in love or plotting murder." I rolled my eyes. Maybe both. She didn't laugh. She just watched me. "Is it someone you're not supposed to be with?" I didn't answer. That was enough. A week later, we were parked behind a 24-hour diner in his car, windows fogged, radio low, his hand warm on my knee, when he said, "My father's asking questions. I think he knows I'm seeing someone." I pulled away. "We should stop." He didn't argue. He didn't plead. He just said, "We won't." He was right. The next time we met, he brought a box of old letters. He'd broken into his father's office. He didn't say it, but I could tell, and found a stack bound in red ribbon. Letters from my uncle, Elijah Dorsey, to his mother. Love letters. "He loved her," Cassian said, placing one gently in my lap. "Not a rumor, not a theory. It's all here. Your uncle and my mom, they were together before everything blew up." My stomach dropped. "But Elijah went bankrupt. He left town. My dad said the Bennecks crushed his business." "Or your dad crushed theirs." We sat in silence. I took the letters home. I read every one. They talked about meeting in secret, about starting over far from here, about how Elijah wanted to propose. The last letter was different. It wasn't from Elijah. It was from my father. It said, "End this, or I will. You don't know what I'm capable of." My hands shook. The next morning, I confronted my dad. He was slicing grapefruit, humming like it was any other Tuesday. I slapped the letter on the counter. His face changed. Not surprised, not shocked, just tired. "Where did you get this?" "You say," threatened your own brother. I protected him from people who would have used him. He loved her. She was using him, Harper. She wanted a piece of the family name, of our money. She got too close, and I did what needed to be done. You ruined his life. I saved our legacy. I walked out. I drove 3 hours to the coast, to the abandoned pier Cassian liked, and I waited. When he showed up, I didn't say anything. I just threw my arms around him. He held me like I was glass. We lay on the hood of his car under the stars. "We're them," I whispered. "Elijah and your mom. Same story. Different decade. Then we write a better ending." He kissed my temple. "Come away with me, just for a while, a week, a month, whatever we can steal." I nodded before I even thought it through. We planned everything, quietly, carefully. Cassian found a rental in Oregon. I told Mara everything, made her promise to lie for me. The night we were supposed to leave, I packed my bag, left my phone behind, slipped out through the kitchen door. I waited at the station. 30 minutes passed, then an hour. Then 2. He never came. I called. No answer. I texted. Nothing. I checked every train, every platform. Then I saw Mara. She wasn't supposed to be there. Her eyes were red. "Your dad found out," she said. "Or maybe Cassian's did. He's gone. His phone's off. His dad moved him out of state, somewhere far, somewhere locked down. I felt everything leave me. Mara wrapped her arms around me, and I couldn't even cry. Later that night, I went to the bookstore, the one where we used to meet. There was a brick near the back wall, loose by a drain pipe. I slid my note inside, folded small. If you ever find this, you'll know I waited. I always will. And I walked away. A year passed. I didn't hear from him. Not a text, not a whisper. I told myself he forgot, moved on, found someone easier. Someone who didn't come with threats and legacies and families that tore holes in the people they claimed to love. I'd stayed, graduated, got into grad school in DC, kept my head down, but nothing felt real. It was like I was watching myself from outside a window, going through motions, smiling at the right times, laughing when I was supposed to. But inside I felt like a page torn from a book, unread, discarded. Then, last week, a package showed up at my door. No name, no return address. Inside was a single photograph. Me and Cassian, blurry, stolen in a moment I didn't know was being captured. We were laughing. I was looking at him like he was gravity. He was looking at me like I was freedom. On the back, 2 words. I remember. My hands shook. I called Mara. What do I do? She didn't hesitate. You go find him. I spent 3 days chasing threads. A rumor from an old contact. A forwarded email. A glitchy voicemail that cut off after 3 seconds but said the name of a town in Maine. I got on a bus. 10 hours later, I was in a foggy coastal place that smelled like salt and pine and second chances. The bookstore sat on the corner of Main and Cedar. Old wood, chipped paint, charm in every window pane. I stepped inside. A bell rang. He was behind. The counter. Same dark curls. Same storm cloud eyes. A little thinner. A little more tired. We stared at each other. I didn't think you'd come, he said. I waited. I know. I saw your note. My heart stopped. I came back. 3 months after they moved me. I found your message. Then why didn't you say anything? My father tracked me. Every move. Every email. He said if I reached out, he'd burn everything you loved. Your future. Your family's name. He meant it. I stepped closer. Why now? He exhaled. He's gone. Died last month. Stroke, no will, no chains left. I didn't know what to say. He walked around the counter. Slowly. Like he wasn't sure if I'd let him get close. I did. He touched my face like I was made of glass and memory. I never stopped, Harper. Not 1 second. I thought of you every time I saw Red Velvet or heard someone hum off key. I laughed, tears spilling down my cheeks. I hated you for leaving. I hated myself too. I looked around. The books. The quiet. The air heavy with old stories. You built a life. No, I built a waiting room. I reached into my bag, pulled out a single folded letter. One from Elijah to Cassian's mother. The one where he'd written, I don't want to escape our world, I want to change it. I found this the night I left, I said. I never showed you. He read it, silent. When he finished, he folded it slowly, tucked it into his pocket, like it was a map to something holy. Then let's change it. We moved fast. Not out of desperation, but because we'd already lost too much time. We went public. Not with our relationship, with the truth. We scanned every letter, every threat, every falsified document our families used to stay on top. Sent it all to an independent journalist Cassian trusted. She'd covered corruption in family dynasties before. She didn't flinch. The story blew up. News cycles couldn't get enough. Power, politics, and forbidden love. The Dorsey Bennick. Scandal made headlines for weeks. Our families denied it all, until Elijah came forward. He backed every word. I met him in person for the first time at a press conference. He hugged me and whispered, "You're braver than I ever was." My father didn't speak to me, but he didn't deny it either. That silence was the loudest confession of all. We got threats. Of course we did. Some people don't want truth, they want the illusion of order. But we weren't hiding anymore. Cassian proposed 6 months later, not with a ring, with a note, folded the same way I used to fold mine, slipped into a book of poems. We've rewritten the ending. Let's start a beginning. We married in a greenhouse on the edge of that same Maine town. Rain on the roof, friends around us, and peace in our bones. After the ceremony, I asked him what he thought would have happened if we'd never kissed that night. He looked at me and said, "Then we would have just been another tragedy in the Dorsey-Bennick line. But now," he smiled, "now we're the footnote that rewrote the legacy."